Hello, and welcome to this episode of Hubs and Father Man. I am your host, Carrie Braggs, and I'm glad you could join me today. I hope everyone is having themselves a great day. So, to my normal subscribers, my normal people who tune in for helpful advice, good to see you. For those of you who just ran across this video, good to see you as well. Hopefully, you enjoy the content that's going to go forth today, and you become a subscriber and you become a part of our family as well. So don't forget to subscribe. What is it? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and please leave a comment because I like to know what you're thinking if you find these videos helpful or if you have any other ideas that I can bring forth on marriage, parenting, or manhood and womanhood. So for those of you who just ran across this channel, that's what it's about. Giving helpful advice when it comes to marriage, parenting, manhood, and womanhood. That was a lot. So now I'm going to get into today's video. And so today I'm going to be talking about the importance of taking care of yourself, the importance of self-care. And what made me do this video was I talked to a lot of people about how they just don't have enough time in the day to do things and how they have so much going on. And even if it's not things that they have to do, sometimes it's taking kids different places and activities and lessons and things like that, or kids who are out of the house or family members or friends who or asking you to help out in different situations. So sometimes there are things going on beyond your schedule. Sometimes people are adding things to your schedule. And so a lot of times when I'm talking to people about these different situations and they're tired, they're stressed out, and sometimes they're just discouraged. And then I'll just ask them, so when do you have time for yourself? What are you doing for yourself to make sure that you're okay, that you're taking care of you? Because within those conversations, all I hear about are them taking care of others or them doing all these other things. And most of the time, the response is they don't have things in place to take care of self. They don't have things in place that focus on them. And so that made me make this video to just try to help within that. And so this is where we're going to start. I wrote everything down because many times I'll make a video and then I'll say, "Oh, I left that part out." So I am not ashamed to look at my cheat sheet. And so the first question is, why is that a problem? If you don't have downtime for yourself or you're not taking care of self. And so, as I said, because we need rest, we need to regenerate, we need to regroup. And if you are constantly on the go, you're going to feel stressed, you're going to feel overwhelmed, and you're going to burn out sooner or later. And you don't want those things to happen. So you need to be mindful of these things because, as I said, a lot of people are in that space. And many times they're just doing life and they're not even looking at the fact that they're over here and over there and that they're on the go and that this is a problem. Sometimes that's just a way of life for us. And it's just like with some things we know and some things we have to be taught. I always talk about as a parent, we don't have to teach our kids to lie. We don't have to teach our kids to be selfish when they're sitting there with toys and someone else picks up a toy. We don't have to teach them to say, mine, and go snatch that and possibly bonk the other kid on the head with that toy. We don't have to teach them that, but we do have to teach them to share. We do have to teach them to tell the truth. And so, just like that, within life, sometimes we just do things because that's how it's always been, or sometimes we think we have to. But It's time for us to start rethinking some things. It's time for us to just really pay attention to what's going on in our lives and, make sure that we are on a healthy path and things like that. So that's why this is important and why this is a problem. And so now you ask yourself, what do you do in this situation? Now that you realize that you have all these things going on and you don't want to be overwhelmed or you don't want to be burnout or stressed all the time because these are the things that you're feeling and dealing with. But now you ask, what do you do in this situation? And so the answer to that question is you have to start focusing on having downtime for yourself. That means setting aside time for you to be able to rest, to unplug from things. Don't always be connected to other people or social media. I think nowadays things and people have too much access to us, and we have to make sure we limit that. But we have to focus on finding things to do that relax us. So now you're looking at the situation and you say to yourself, I have to look at these things. How much time am I spending on social media? How much time am I spending with every time somebody calls me, I'm right back on the phone calling them back, or people are texting me all day and I'm texting back. How many times are you doing those things throughout the day? And it's just a situation to where you have to look at that and start saying to yourself, this is not good. It's not good for you to always allow people to have access to you, or you to always be accessing things, for you to always be on social media and just involved in different things. Sometimes you have to rethink those situations and do something different. And so once you look at these things that you need to change up, or that are issues that you didn't necessarily recognize at first. Now you have to ask yourself, how do you accomplish that goal? How do you accomplish that goal of changing things up? And so first you have to look at your schedule and see where you can make changes. Um, Many times we have things that are set in place that can't be changed. We have work, we have school. If you're a part of after school curricular activities, or your kids have piano lessons, or they have sports uh, clubs or things that they belong to, you are obligated to take care of those things. You may be in a dart league, you may be in a women's group. So many different things that we have on our schedule that we've obligated ourselves to. And so now we have to look at our schedule and see if um, maybe some of these things can be taken off of the schedule. Maybe if you're in a dart league, maybe after this session, maybe you may take the next session off to give yourself a little downtime. And, or on your days off, you look at your schedule and you see where you can insert things, where you can insert downtime, where you can insert time to rest and things like that. And so this is how you accomplish this. You are intentional about looking at what do you have going on. As I said earlier, we have things that are on our schedule already, but sometimes we are allowing other people to add things onto our schedule, and we are adding things onto our schedule. I remember years ago when I kind of realized some of these things. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes we have busy schedules once again because of obligations. You may just be in that season. So I am not negating that. Sometimes you may have a busy week going on because of the holidays. You may have family visiting or just different things that create the perfect storm. That's understandable as well. But we're talking about your everyday, regular week to where most of these things are on your schedule. You have certain days that are busier than others. And now you are looking at your schedule to see where your free time is and how to best use it. And so I remember years ago, I was sitting up one week and I was kind of all over the place. And I was just like, man, I got so much going on. I had work, the kids had some extracurricular activities, but I noticed I had scheduled different things to meet with people as far as ministry and different things like that. And so I said to myself, I was like, wow, some of these things I added to the schedule and made my schedule busy. So I need to stop doing that. I need to stop scheduling all of these things on my schedule because I'm trying to help people or I'm trying to reach out and things like that. It has to be done decent and in order. Maybe instead of setting up two meetings this week, I'll set up one meeting maybe the beginning of this week and one the middle of next week, but I'll just spread it out because if I'm not in a good space, how can I help others be in a good space? And so we have to look at that as well. And so we have to make sure that we prioritize our downtime. So you think about any sports or any leagues or groups that you belong to, you're not going to let your dart league interfere with your job. You're not going to call your job and say, "Hey, I got my dart league today, so I'm not going to be able to come in. We're in the finals." You're not going to tell your supervisor that. So you don't let your dart league interfere with your job. And so this is the same way you have to approach your downtime. Don't let anything interfere with your downtime. You have to make time for yourself to rest. You have to make sure you have things that you enjoy doing as well. But you have to be intentional about putting that into your schedule. And so, once again, that's something I learned over the years to where I'm to the place now. I have my things that I love to do that allow me to rest, to things that I enjoy to do. I enjoy making these YouTube videos. I enjoy sitting down watching some of my favorite TV shows. I enjoy reading a good book. So these are all things that allow me to relax, to rest, to regroup and have that time just for me. And so when I'm dealing with my downtime and my self care, I'm not answering the phone call. I'm not responding to a text. I'm not doing anything. I'm taking care of me right now. And that's very important for you to develop that attitude because just like Jesus, when he told the disciples when they were when Judas got mad at him when the lady poured the oil on his feet, and he like, hey, we could have sold that and helped with the poor. And Jesus said, the poor you always have with you. You won't always have me. And so I'm not saying to be Jesus, so don't try to say I said that in this video. What I am saying though is you are always going to have family, friends who need you to do something or things they want you to be a part of or things you want to do. And sometimes you just have to say no. You have to say no to that thing with them. You have to say no to that thing that you want to do because it's just another thing for you to do. And the more you are doing and going, the less you are sitting and resting and regrouping and regenerating. And that is very essential. And so just take a look at your schedule, see what you have going on, and put some downtime in there, put some self care in there, because once again, if we aren't taking care of ourselves, we aren't going to be any good to help anybody else. It's just like if you are a driver, if you're not getting rest, then you're putting everyone else in danger when you're out there on the roads, and nobody wants that. We want to make sure that we have enough rest so when we are out here driving, then we can make sure that we are being safe. So therefore, if you haven't had rest and someone wants you to drive them somewhere, you shouldn't say yes. You should say, hey, I can't right now. I don't want to fall asleep behind the wheel and end up injuring or killing someone. I don't want to do that. And you have to look at this in that manner as well. You have to take this serious. You have to make sure it is a priority. And as long as you have that built into your schedule, just like everything else, then you will stay balanced. You won't be stressed out. You won't feel overwhelmed. You won't fear that you're going to go into burnout mode because you have your self care built into your schedule. And this is something I'm not just telling you this, I practice what I preach. And so, therefore, even when I have busy things going on and I may have not been focused on my self-care this week, I'll start to feel it. I'm like, whoa, I'm feeling stressed. I'm feeling overwhelmed. And immediately, boom, time out, time out. It's time for me to go sit down somewhere. It's time for me to go sit down. It's time for me to regroup. So I may just go grab myself a popcorn, some popcorn, and watch one of my shows. And as I'm sitting there, I'm getting back in order. And now I'm thinking about the best way forward. But I don't just stay in that mode of feeling stressed or overwhelmed and just keep going. No, when I feel that rising up, immediately I'm like, okay, time out. It's time for me to go grab a seat. It's time for me to have some downtime, do some self care. And usually, once I do that, I feel refreshed. And now I'm clear headed, I'm level headed, and I'm able to go back into action. No harm, no foul. I didn't have a breakdown or anything like that. And so I want to just encourage everybody to think about those things. Just ask yourself, do you have self-care and downtime built into your schedule? And if you don't, you need to put it in there. Don't allow yourself to say, I'm just too busy. I got too much going on. Exactly. That needs to stop. I've had that conversation several times with my son. Uh, he's in college and he's a part of all these different groups, and he's always planning things, and he'll be talking about how he's just so busy and things are getting backed up. And I've had conversations with him, and I'm like, okay, did you set that up, or does somebody invite you out to that and different things? And a lot of times it's a mixture of all of them. And so I'll talk to him and say, sometimes, son, you have to tell them you're not going to be able to make it out to this event. You try to support people, but you can't make it to every event. And then I told him to kind of dial back some of the events he was throwing. And it took a couple of years, but I think this year he's kind of took some of that advice to heart and dialed some things back because this year everything seems to be going pretty smooth. He's more focused on what he's doing, and I haven't heard him speak much about not having time or being so busy on a regular basis. And so I hope that was food for thought for you to understand once again why it is so important to take care of yourself. To look at your life and say, why that's a problem? It's a problem if you don't have rest. It's a problem if you don't have time to where you're focused on yourself. It's a problem if everybody always has access to you. And what do you do in this situation? You look at your schedule and you say to yourself, I need to start setting aside downtime. I need to start self caring. So you look at your schedule, find out what do you have going on, and then you decide how do you accomplish that. How you accomplish that? After you looked at your schedule, you find the places to where you can get that downtime, and then you put it on your schedule to make sure that it is a part of your everyday, a part of your week. So you won't be overwhelmed, or so you won't be stressed or feel like burnout is creeping up on you, because you always have your downtime built in. And some weeks may be busier than others. And when you start feeling stressed out, that's when you say, "Oh, I haven't had my downtime." Or even if you have had your downtime, now it's time to say, "Oh, let me get a little downtime in here. Let me sit still for a little while. Let me read my book, unplug from everything. I'm not going to focus on what's going on around me right now. I'm front and center. I'm reading my book, and I'm focused on me." And when you do things like that, you will get to the promised land. So I hope that that was helpful. I hope you take it to heart, and that you are very intentional about putting this into place so you may be able to stay balanced, and just be able to just be even keel across the board. So that's all I have for this video today. Hope it was helpful, and that it makes a difference in your life. So go check out your schedule and see what you come up with. So I will see you on the next video. Husband, Father, Man out, and you have a blessed day.